So I have one question for you. Who do you think is the prize between the Filipino wife or the American or otherwise foreigner husband or boyfriend, whatever the situation? Who do you think is the prize in that relationship? Welcome back to the G5 Family channel. I hope you're having a great day. Thanks for clicking into this video. Depending on which camp you're in, I think you'll find this informative either way. So let's get right into it. A few weeks ago, we got what I consider to be an onslaught of really horrible comments on the video that we did regarding what your Filipino wife might expect. I mean, really bad, really horrible comments riddled with curse words, the whole bit. So yeah, it was a real shock, and I have literally given it about 10 days to sort of, I don't know, chill out, because in the moment, and I mean, it still kind of raises my feathers as I'm talking about it right now. I did delete the comments that day, as well as the commentor, but be sure and drop a comment. I'd be interested to know if you happen to see these comments before I deleted them. So let's get right into the heart of the matter. You don't have to watch too many of my videos to know how I really love and respect my Filipino wife, Filipinos, I mean, people in general. I have a general respect for mankind. But in this case, we're talking about Filipinas, based on this person's comments. You know, I wasn't born yesterday. I'm well aware of the ranging viewpoints, positive and negative, and I'm not going to mention any of the negative viewpoints just because I don't share in those viewpoints and I don't think they're worth bringing light of day to them. But let me just say this much. In the case of the comments on my video, all I was doing was sharing the things that I've learned to expect from my Filipino wife, and I thought it'd be fun to share with you guys and get your feedback, which, by the way, I've gotten tons of feedback, mostly really good feedback. So this was definitely the anomaly in the situation. And what's more, as my audience is beginning to grow a little bit, I guess it's you know, more or less expected that, you know, I'll start getting some of this stuff. But I can't help it. It's just a little bit of a shock. Okay, so I'm gonna put the comment right here. Actually, it's two comments, because I refuse to repeat it verbally. And there was a barrage of comments included that I will not post because they were just so crude and the language was just too offensive. So essentially, the way I interpret those two comments is that this individual must think that they are far superior in the human race and that the Filipina is far lesser than he. Well, I just have one thing to say to that.
Well, isn't that special?
In that moment, the prevailing question I had was, if this is how he feels about the Filipina, then why in the world is he wasting his time watching videos about the American / Filipino, you know, relationships on YouTube? I mean, if that's really how he feels, he's surely not going to be interested in getting involved with a Filipina. I mean, I wouldn't think, because, you know, by all means, he's far superior than she. But in any case, the other thought that I have is that maybe he had a really bad experience himself. And sure, I've heard many of the horror stories, but philosophically speaking, or should I say morally speaking, I am a firm believer in owning my responsibilities. In other words, owning my actions. For every decision, good or bad, for every behavior, good or bad, no matter what, there is going to be a good or bad consequence. And I know for myself that I can go back in time when I've suffered a bad consequence, and I can look back to that situation and replay the events. And I can tell you this, every single time I've been able to identify a moment or a situation, an occurrence in that experience where there was a red flag, something that spoke to my inner self and said, hang on a second, this may not be a good idea. But, you know, we're only human. We get caught up in the excitement, we get caught up in the situation, we get caught up in the emotions. And like I've said in the past, we make these crazy life decisions without giving it time to really mature and time to really reveal the red flags more prominently. And that's what I mean by owning our responsibility, or owning our, or taking responsibility for our actions. That's a better way to say it. Here's the real rub with me. Here's, aside from the offensive language, aside from the crude remarks, the real rub with me is when we ask the question, who is the prize? Who is the prize between the Filipina? Who brings more to the table? The Filipina or the American or the foreign husband? Who is the prize? And just let me say this, I'm not so arrogant to think of myself as any prize. Yes, I have much to offer to my wife and my family. But guess what? And I say this with a lot of conviction, so does she. She may not have money in the bank. She may not have a pile of gold somewhere. But let me tell you something. That woman has more to offer you than you could ever cash out of a bank account. And I say this again, I say this with a lot of conviction, because after 10 years of marriage to my Filipino wife, she is the prize. Let me just tell you, she is the prize. I am not the prize. Sorry, I'm not trying to be overly dramatic for the sake of this video. I'm genuinely portraying these are my genuine feelings. Finances, that just pays the bills. But her devotion, her loyalty, her friendship, her partnership, all of the things, that is way more. I definitely got the prize, and believe me, I feel like I am the most blessed guy in the world. And yes, I'm biased, I know, but that's how I feel. And I'm certain that I'm not the only one that feels this way. So let me come down off of my, emotional, honestly, my answer to the question, who, is we're both the prize. We both bring, considerable value to the proposition. I do my best every day to be a loving husband, a loving father, caring and considerate, courteous, respectful, loyal, dedicated, devoted husband and father to my family. And she runs circles around me. There's no contest. We're both the prize. If the relationship is founded in true love, then I'm her prize and she's my prize. We're both the prize. I'm at the port is over this way. That horn in the background, that's coming from the port. One thing I'm learning from this whole YouTube experience is that, bad news travels fast. The negative, the bad stuff, the bad situations, the bad experiences, the horror stories, for some reason, that gets way more attention. And what I'm finding out is, especially in the comments, and guys, if you're commenting on my videos, just know that I love getting your comments, and I would actually challenge any one of you to answer if I have not replied to your comments, except for the ones that I deleted. I didn't comment or reply to those. I didn't have anything nice to say. And by the way, I wanted to say, I remember as I was coming over here, I wanted to be sure and say this with regard to those horrible comments. My mama always said, if you don't have anything good to say, don't say anything at all. And I latched onto that my whole life, but I just felt like I needed to sort of put a message out there that, we don't have to be so crude. There's no call for it. There's no call for it. And to make those kind of comments, if I'm living by that rule, if I don't have anything good to say, don't say anything at all. This whole talk is good because I am defending the honor of my Filipino wife and for that matter, for all Filipinas. So with that, I'm going to wrap up. Guys, as I said a minute ago, I love the comments. Keep them coming. I'll continue replying back. If you haven't subscribed, please do. If you haven't hit the like button, please do. If you don't like what I'm saying in this video, by all means, click dislike, and we'll see you in the next video.